Now, while on the courts, we have to clarify a couple of things. The Supreme Court is not the highest court in the land. The High Court is. And this is how they mess people up. The Supreme Court there is there to interpret the law, and it interprets the law in different ways depending on who you are, or your social background, or many other instances like that. So, with my accent and my schooling, the interpretation of a law affecting me will be totally different to the determination of that same law and how it affects you. They will interpret both differently. Now, one man who went through a huge fucking horrendous time with it was Quinn. Nama have since sold on his businesses. Okay, he messed up. The banking thing was ridiculous, the shares and all. It was a bad decision, or he was badly advised. But at the end of the day, all the businesses he had were just rebranded. They were all profitable and they all sold on. He could have repaid his debts. They brought him through the courts and they kept referring him to the Supreme Court, then back to the High Court, then to the Supreme Court, then back to the High Court. And basically they will do that till the day he dies. And they did the same, they slandered him. And they are going to do the same to an awful lot of those protesters, and they will bankrupt them or break them. Very few people have actually gotten through these systems intact, unless they came from the right background. And then it probably didn't even go to the Supreme Court. Your district court is under the jurisdiction of the councils, as I stated. Now, any of you over 40 will remember, if you had no tax on the car, or there's some minor infringement like a brake light gone or whatever, you had to go back to the county that you were stopped in, or where the offence was committed, to answer the case. Now with speed cameras, etc., it's slightly blurred, so it doesn't really affect that way. They're just instant crimes and you pay them to a central station. But all those courts, the reason you went back was because they're in the jurisdiction of the council. The district courts, the legal fraternity rent the courts from the councils. So the councils profit and the judiciary profit, and they're outside the state. Now you can check the Constitution, and if you find the word district court in the Constitution, post it there and someone will bring it to my attention. The state's courts are the Circuit Court, the High Court and the Supreme Court. That is where you get access to common law, or you get your book of evidence and then they jiggle it about till they get the outcome they want anyway. So it doesn't really make much difference. But it's disguised as a functioning arena. Because basically that's all it fucking is an arena. Anyway, excuse my French. But they're the jurisdictions of the courts. Now, the High Court being the highest court in the land, there was a builder was in contention with the council over title on the Ivy Gardens, the Ivy Market. And while the case was in court, Lord Ivy stepped up and said, "That's mine, I'm taking it back." And his jurisdiction superseded the jurisdiction of the highest court in this land. His authority overruled the authority of the High Court. This was done during the sitting of a case. The case was in process. Now, I'm not going to go into all that yet. It's a bit complex. It is a rabbit hole. But regarding the courts, they are your jurisdictions in the courts. So your summary, that's in the district. It's outside the state's jurisdiction, as is anything else pre-1937. So you've two football teams, they're post-37. You've one rugby team. It's not because President played rugby. That's pre-37. And you have the likes of the RDS, Royal Dublin Society, Royal College of Surgeons, the Royal Golf Club. Anything with Royal in its name, it was kept for a reason. They were all created by Royal Charter, and this includes the courts and King's Inn. All of these things are in existence because of Royal Charters and UK Parliamentary Acts. And anything pre-37, the state must support, but has no jurisdiction over. So that's a bit of a pill to swallow. And it takes a little bit of investigation to join all the dots. Now, I will explain these things to people, but I cannot understand it for you. You have to do some research. You have to read some of the stuff I put up and possibly what other people will share. Because if you don't educate yourself into this, or even partially educate yourself just to follow the trait or the track, you will get lost in it. And as I say, if you follow it to its conclusion, it is an awful rabbit hole. But there is a way out of it. And a very, very simple way to get out of all this. And there doesn't need to be a bullet fired or a stone thrown or anything else. We just do what Barbados did 2 years ago. It's very, very simple. But as I say, I'm keeping these short and sweet. And I'm just going to show you a few of the abuses of what happened in the system, where people are railroaded, why it's not working. So I'll touch on a few different things and it will all start to come together at some stage. I don't know when. I'm doing this on the fly, and if you can stick with me, you can. If you don't, you don't. It's completely up to you. It's a free country. Not that the coppers would let you think it's a free country, or the state would let you think it's a free country, but at least in what we watch at the moment, that's not being blocked by Google or Apple or YouTube or something. These could be blocked next week. But while these things are available, you have the illusion of freedom to watch them and participate.